How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up?
يعني لا يجوز أن نشمل الإسلاميين كل الإسلاميين، وهناك إسلاميين هم يعملون لمصلحة CIA، وهؤلاء الناس تحركهم السعودية وتمولهم السعودية. أنا أعتقد أن اليهود الذين كانوا في المدينة عادوا بعد 1400 سنة من هزيمتهم على يد النبي محمد، عادوا للانتقام من النبي محمد عبر هذا النظام الحاكم. أنا أجزم.
يعني تقول انه
فتشي عن بني القينقاع،
الاتصال السعودي
المسلمين يعرفوا هذا الامر. فتشي عن بني القينقاع بتوصل شو عم بيصير اليوم مع النظام السوري.
The Saudi royal family is actually a crypto-Jewish family. That's the reason they're in power. That's the reason the famous Arabia is named after them. Okay. And this history is widely accepted in the upper class of Saudi Arabia. They all know this. People get killed for reporting on it. So in 851 AH, approximately 875 AD, a Jewish merchant by the name of Mordici bin Abraham di Moshi changed his name to Markan bin Abraham di Musa when infiltrating and pretending to be related to the Arab Anza tribe, a faction of the Bedouins. Long story short, after a lot of convincing, he eventually enhanced his position amongst the Bedouins and decided to settle there permanently at a town called near Et Quif, and his plan was for it to be the new capital of the Persian Gulf. He was trying to establish a Jewish kingdom within Arabia. However, the Ajman and Bantu Khalid tribes of the Bedouins became aware of his plan and his true identity. They attacked his town and sacked it, but he barely got out. He sought asylum from a landlord, but ultimately killed him and his whole family and took over his property. What a shock. He renamed it to El Daira, the same name he lost near Et Kif. He gradually railed up enough support from the hypocrites who propagandized that he was a prominent Arab sheikh. He plotted against Sheikh Salhi Salman Abdul al-Tami, who was the original instigator on the attack of his original town, and he was behind the true sheikh's assassination in the mosque in a town now called El Zafi. From there, he eventually resettled and practiced polygamy on a grand scale and begot many children and gave them pure Arab names. One of Mordish's son, called El-Makran, Arabized from the Jewish root Makren, had a son called Muhammad, and another son called Saad, which is where the present-day Saudi dynasty stems from. They have continued their polygamy, assassinations, and usurpations, and they have seized all the lands and resources from the people, claiming it to be their own. They've named the whole country after themselves, the House of Saud. The famous Arabia is now Saudi Arabia. On September 17, 1969, King Faisal al-Saud stated to the Washington Post, quote, "We the Saudi family are cousins of the Jews. We entirely disagree with any Arab or Muslim authority which shows any antagonism toward the Jews. But we must live together with them in peace. Our country is a fountainhead from where the first Jew sprang, and his descendants spread out all over the world." The Iraqi intelligence services under Saddam Hussein reported that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab was a crypto-Jew. Now, Wahhab was the creator of Wahhabism. The report uses the memories of a British spy of the time. He was called Hemper, who pretended to be from Azerbaijan. Hemper was working for the British Empire when he met al-Wahhab, with the intentions of setting up a Wahhabi sect to cause an Arab revolt against the ruling Ottoman Empire of the time and paved the way for a Jewish state in Palestine. Writings of the British spy Hempers are recalled by the writer Abu Shari Pasha in his 1880 book, Beginning and Spreading of Wahhabis. In D. Mustafa Turan's book, The Domain of the Jews, he writes that Wahhabi's grandfather, Tajin Saliwuman, was actually Tajin Shulman, a member of the Jewish community of Barsha in Iraq. It was later revealed in another book, The Domain of the Jews and the Origin of the Saudi Wahhabis, by Rift Saladin Kapar. He reveals that Shulman settled in what is now Saudi Arabia, where his grandson founded Wahhabism. The Iraqi intelligence also reports that Shulman had been banished from Egypt and Syria and Mecca for quackery. That's what they thought of Wahhabism back then. Abdul Wahhab Irim el-Shamri's book, The Wahhabi Movement, The Truth and the Roots, states that King Abdul Aziz ibn Saud, the first Saudi monarch, was descended from the Mushi bin Arib Mushi, a Jewish merchant from Barsha, Iraq. According to his book, Mushi changed his name, and his son married a woman from a Saudi tribe. The Iraqi intelligence report claims that the researcher Muhammad Shakir was murdered by the Saudi Arabian government for his scrutiny of the Saudi royal family's Jewish roots.
Saudi Arabia, the government of Saudi Arabia, has a friendly relationship with the United States. In fact, there is something common between the state of Saudi Arabia and the state of Israel which would surprise you. They are sisters. The same forces who work for the establishment of the state of Israel are the same forces who work for the establishment of the state of Saudi Arabia. The same forces who have kept Israel alive today and guaranteed Israel's security are the same forces who have kept Saudi Arabia alive today and has guaranteed Saudi Arabia's security. And when the state of Israel is to be destroyed, Saudi Arabia also goes down into the garbage bin. This is
In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou wast as one of them.
حمد وهنيك بتوليك رئاسة القمة. وبهذه المناسبة أقول يا أخي عبد الله 6 سنوات وانت حارب خايف من المواجهه ما تخاف، بس بقول لك بعد 6 سنوات ثبت انك انت مش كذا مراك